The A1, Britain's longest road. Stretching almost 400 miles from the City of London to the heart of the Scottish capital. Connecting two nations and passing through 18 counties. It's an unrivaled highway used by hundreds of thousands of vehicles every day.
We're going southbound down the A1 on the northbound carriageway.
But not all journeys go to plan.
I thought I'm going to lose my life.
Cars are coming close. It is the dangerous place to be.
Lives can hang in the balance.
The rear end of that vehicle, it's unrecognisable.
This is actually the bodywork of the car.
24 hours a day,
It's not a safe place here.
there's a team of people who keep us safe from harm. The police,
Vehicle come off the road, gone into a hedge.
response teams,
We don't know whether they've got the road closed or we don't know what's happened.
and traffic officers.
Keep going.
Keeping Britain's most iconic road
Get out!
on the move.
Substantially damaged flatbed truck in lane 2.
The A1, the monster that it is, will start to return to normal.
Coming up, the careless drivers putting lives at risk.
The worst case scenario is that it's a fatality.
Officers race to the scene
This is high priority.
of a treacherous tyre blowout.
Traffic's just too busy. Chances of somebody getting struck on the offside is really high.
And the speeding teenage motorist who's risking everything.
If we prosecute through the fixed penalty system, this driver's going to lose his licence.
More than 1,700 people were killed or injured in accidents on Britain's roads in 2015. 21 of them lost their lives on the A1. Some involved just one vehicle, others involved several. But by far the most common accidents seen on the highway are rear-end shunts. It's now 7:30 in the morning, and there's a report of a pile-up just before the A1 crosses the River Tyne. PC Darren Lant doesn't yet know if there are any injuries. It's vital he gets there as soon as possible.
I think what's happened is there's been a collision involving 4 vehicles, and then as people have slowed down, there's been a secondary collision resulting in another 2. We should be coming across it shortly on the northbound carriageway.
The accident has only just been reported, but there are already tailbacks causing danger to other road users.
And we've already got quite a substantial build-up, and this is the main arterial route through Newcastle, the A1.
Darren needs to weave through the southbound traffic, but many drivers have slowed to look, creating the risk of further shunts.
The main priority, certainly for me, is the welfare and first aid of all those involved. In worst case scenario, is that it's a fatality, which would mean a full road closure. Then can you imagine trying to divert everything off the A1 to an alternative route? So we're just pulling up on scene now. You'll be able to see the recovery truck up ahead. Anybody hurt?
No, I don't think so. The injuries?
No injuries. Ah, excellent, good.
These drivers had a lucky escape, but until the cars are recovered, a lane has been closed on the A1, causing stop-start traffic further south.
Lane 1's closed for about 100 metres just north of the bridge.
The lane can't be reopened until Darren gathers his evidence.
We're just coming along, the traffic slowed down. To be honest with you, there was a one in front, 2 in front actually bumped each other.
All right, okay.
It's just done this, it's just all stopped. It's just gone at the back of us.
After hearing one version of events, Darren needs to get the other side of the story.
Was there anything wrong with your brakes or anything there?
I don't think
You don't think so? Have you got your driving licence with you? Have you? Can I see your driving licence, please?
Well, I was on my way to work at Blythe, and obviously the traffic slowed down. The lady's just gone into the back of us. This is the first accident I've had. I've been driving over 30 years. You're more thinking about the other people trying to get to work, and you're stopping them from getting to work, so that doesn't help either. But I'll probably not get to work for the rest of the week now either until I get things sorted out.
The other driver accepts full responsibility for the crash. Darren's now gathered the evidence he needs to decide whether any offence has been committed.
It's turned out although it's quite substantially damaged both vehicles. There's no injuries, which is a good thing. It was a result of a secondary collision. There'd been a one further up, then the lady hasn't been able to stop in time for the Nissan to come to a stop, and she's gone into the back of him.
The priority now is to recover both vehicles so that the A1 can be reopened to ease the rush hour jams. After 15 minutes, Darren can leave the scene and will assess whether to take any further action.
The driver of the Nissan, the one that's had, where the other one's gone in the back of him, he's all right. There's nothing will happen with him. The other driver, the female, she hasn't been able to stop in time. She said the road was slippy. It's nice and dry. She's not alleging any mechanical defect with her car, so she said the brakes were fine. She doesn't know why she hasn't been able to stop in time. It's my suspicion, and I strongly suspect that she just hasn't reacted enough. She's been driving maybe a little bit too fast for the conditions. Hasn't acknowledged that the guy's coming to a stop, and she's just gone into the back of him. You must be able to stop that in the distance. You can see ahead to be clear, and she hasn't been able to do that.
Both cars will now be taken away to be repaired. It will be up to the drivers to organise their own insurance claims. Traffic officers deal with more than 4,000 breakdowns on the A1 every year. It's a common call-out, but one that causes delays, disruption and danger. In South Yorkshire, Paul Day and Rob Larkin are on patrol along the road. 3 hours into their afternoon shift, they spot a van on the opposite side of the A1.
Appears to be a large vehicle with a trailer on. We're just turning at Sprotbrough to attend.
If the van's broken down in the middle of a lane, it could cause a serious accident.
Depending on how far he is down the slip, he may well be in a live lane.
The best scenario here is that it's on the hard shoulder. That's a potential to be the case, but if it's a live lane, this is high priority.
He is actually on the hard shoulder, but he's right at the end of it.
He's moving. Is he moving?
No.
He is.
Looks like he's got an offside puncher.
Yeah.
The broken down vehicle is a van with a trailer. Although the driver has managed to pull onto the hard shoulder, it's still a dangerous situation.
What's the word?
I had a blowout on the trailer, but Dad's on his way anyway with Jack and that, so we'll replace it.
How much weight you got on there?
Not that much.
There's a lot on there.
Only 2 pallets.
This is a very dangerous job. Around 1 in 10 fatalities occur on the hard shoulder. And in this case, the blown tyre is on the driver's side, perilously close to the passing traffic.
He's so near to the hard shoulder that it'd be impossible to change it on the side of the road. At this time of night, if we put a lane closure out on this slip, it'd cause chaos. So the best solution for everyone is if we can move this. It'll only take a couple of minutes to move it, whereas if we was going to do a wheel change, it could be up to half an hour. It's going to inconvenience thousands of people.
Traffic's just too busy. The chances of somebody getting struck on that offside is really high. So I'm just wanting to clear them out of the way.
Closing both lanes will bring rush hour traffic to a standstill, but it's the best option. Only by getting the van off the A1 can safety be guaranteed.
So let your dad know that we're going to be off for 37, and if he comes, get him to pull in front of us, not in front of you, because he'll be in a live lane if he's in front of you. All right, that's what we're doing.
Further up the carriageway, another patrol car is shutting down both lanes of the A1. Now the clock is ticking, because as the tailbacks grow, so does the risk of a pile-up.
Right, here's the gap, look. No more traffic.
We're all going to get in, and we're going to move off nice and slow. Take it as slow as you want. If for any reason the tyre comes off and it's in the mode, we'll stop, we'll move the tyre off out the way, nice and steady, just slow down a bit, and then we'll catch up to you and we'll come behind you. All right.
Right, there's our car. You see him lit up, so that means we're safe to move.
With both lanes closed, the van can now move safely into an empty stretch of the road. And it soon becomes apparent what may have caused the tyre on the trailer to blow.
Yeah, I think it's heavy. It's blown out for a reason, and there's a lot of weight on that trailer.
The priority is getting the vehicle to safety. It's taken 3 minutes to get from the A1 to a side road, and the traffic jam is now a mile long. Paul radios through for the road to be reopened.
Hotel Alpha Charlie Lima 13. Vehicle's now clear of all live lanes, and the log can be closed over. It's not too bad. I mean, the tyre's knacked. Tyre's no good, but he's got it off. There you go. I said he's fast as a pit crew. Formula One.
By acting quickly, the traffic officers have prevented any accidents and kept the A1 moving.
Right, no worries then. Job's a good one.
Thanks for that.
Right, we'll see you later then.
Good. Thank you.
Cheers, Cocker.
Thank you.
Rob and Paul believe this A1 driver has had a close call, like all the other motorists who passed the scene.
It was heavy, was that trailer, which is a potential for why the tyre blew. If the trailer's overweight, the tyres takes too much pressure and that blows the tyres.
The wheel could pop, it starts to get a wiggle on, overturns, could cause carnage, that.
If one or two of them wheels burst on the same side, that will overturn that trailer, or at the very minimum, spill the load across the whole motorway. And it's just unnecessary, really.
It's been a busy late shift, and it's far from over. For Northumbria Police, the A1 is the main road in their area. One officer tasked with patrolling it is PC Alan Keenlyside. And tonight, his shift begins under the shadow of the Northeast's most iconic landmark.
There was some real issues when it was first put up that it may cause collisions by people looking at it, you know, but thankfully it hasn't been the case.
Tonight, one of the busiest sections of the A1 around the city is being shut for maintenance. It's vital drivers abide by the rules to ensure the safety of the workers on the carriageway. To protect the road workers, the speed limit has been reduced to 50. But there are some drivers who seem to think the limit doesn't apply to them. Two cars have just sped past.
The vehicle appears to be travelling above the speed limit, so we'll now progress after the vehicle, see if we can perform a speed check.
One of the cars has pulled off at a slip road, but Alan is still pursuing the second driver. He suspects the two cars could have been racing.
He's actually just pulled into the slow lane, so I don't know if he's been rumbled or he's going off here.
As soon as the driver sees Alan's blue lights, he pulls off the A1 and stops his car.
So we'll have a stop and see what he wants to say for himself. I'm sitting on a slip road monitoring traffic speeds and everyone's doing 50, and then you two drive past like that. Not acceptable, buddy. What's a crack? Be honest.
I don't know.
I'm not saying you do know him.
No.
You were going quite fast. I've recorded your speed. It's 61 miles an hour. All right? So if your average speed there was 61, what was your average speed when you were driving after that black car that went off before you even started here on the speed check? It was higher than that. It was higher than that.
Alan radios control.
Check through the record. There's no stops markers and no points.
The driver's got a clean licence, but that could be about to change. Alan decides to show the driver his in-car recording of the incident.
What I want you to do when I press play is look how fast these cars are going, all right? I want you to see what 50 mile an hour looks like, all right? See the car there? 50 mile an hour? And there's you two. I'm going to warn you for your manner of driving tonight, okay? On the grounds that you suddenly wouldn't drive like that on your driving test. And if you did, you wouldn't be passing, all right? Okay, I'll write this out for you. And I'll give you your licence back and you'll be all right to go on your way.
Warning the driver gives Alan more time to carry out further investigations to establish exactly how far over the limit the motorist was going.
Look after yourself, drive carefully, man. See ya.
For now, the driver is free to go, but he'll be hearing more from Alan once he's finished his investigation. Without doubt, the biggest hazard for drivers on the A1 is other motorists. Every year there are more than 200 cases of death by careless driving on Britain's roads. Highways England's CCTV system has captured many incidents. Like this case of a motorist who appears to be deliberately driving through a set of cones on a section of the highway just near to Scotch Corner in North Yorkshire. The driver continues down a closed-off section of the road before he's stopped by workmen and arrested by police. A decision was later taken not to charge the driver with any offence. It's an extreme example, but he's not the only culprit. To the north of Newcastle, PC Darren Lant is on a mission to crack down on the A1's careless drivers.
There's different levels of careless, isn't there? There's something that's just a momentary lapse that doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad driver, it just means at that particular time you've had a momentary lapse and done something like you should have. But then you've got the top end of careless driving, which is bordering dangerous driving as well.
It's now almost 10 a.m. and a driver has performed an extremely dangerous manoeuvre just yards in front of Darren's patrol car.
This guy here was clearly travelling north on the A1 and then suddenly decided he wanted to be off at the last minute, and then shot across the solid white line of the hatched areas, which is there. The solid line's there to stop people doing that. It's a hazard area, and came off at such a rapid pace he was lucky not to lose control. So we're going to stop this gentleman and have a quick chat with him.
On the A1, it's momentary decisions like this which can change lives.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I can only assume that you missed your exit or you thought you were going to miss it, which is why you shot across at the last minute.
I remember the last second of the lights and walk.
All right, okay. Come and have a chat with me for 2 seconds in the car, please.
Careless driving puts all other motorists at risk. It's an offence police take very seriously.
I'm going to caution you, you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you don't mention my question, something which you later line in court, and anything you do say may be given. You're not under arrest, okay? A lot of people here that think they're arrested, you're not. Okay? However, the way you've driven there today, I'm sure you've probably just been watching it there. It's clearly not of the standard required, okay? It's. I
understand it was pretty dangerous.
It was quite clearly a case of careless driving. This guy here, okay, you've come across the front of him. You've at around about 65, 70 miles an hour, you've cut in front of him, and you've entered the solid white line. You've entered the hatchings, then come out again. All right.
In extreme cases, those found guilty of careless driving can receive disqualification and an unlimited fine.
I'm going to issue with what's called a verbal notice of intended prosecution, okay? You don't have to say anything, as I say, you've been cautioned, but I'm going to report you for consideration for the question of prosecuting you for the offence of careless driving, all right? So you understand why I've stopped you?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, no problem. What we'll do is we'll let you out and you'll get some paperwork through the post in a couple of days' time or so, okay? Okay, watch your ear on up, take care. He admits that his driving was wrong, it was below the standard required, and that it was a stupid thing to do. He remembered at the last moment that there's a set of traffic lights up in Morpeth to where he's headed, and in order to try and avoid the traffic lights, he thought he would come off and come up this road, which is why he's pulled aggressively in front of that other car and shot across the solid white lines. To say how severe is it? It's on a sliding scale. That case there, I think that's pretty bad. I think that incident there is pretty bad. Simply, we've got the wet roads, we've got the damp roads, we've got, and he's travelling at speed, and he's made a very violent manoeuvre in front of another car and across a solid white lane. Could quite easily have gone drastically wrong. He could have lost control. So I think that's quite a severe case of careless driving, that one.
This driver is likely to be summoned to appear at his local magistrates. It will be up to the courts to decide the right penalty to impose. In Doncaster, traffic officers Rob Larkin and Paul Day are battling treacherous conditions on the A1. Now they've been sent to check on an abandoned van. But it looks more like a job for Mulder and Scully. There could be a number of explanations why the van is here. One possibility is that it's been used to commit a crime, then dumped. But whatever the reason, it poses a danger to other motorists. So Paul radios his control centre to run a check on the vehicle.
Hotel Alpha Charlie Echo 13, can I get a PNC on this vehicle, please? It is abandoned. It's locked, secure. It's displaying hazards, but it was on a narrow hard shoulder. Over.
A few minutes later, though, Paul finds the mystery has a more down-to-earth explanation.
I can see somebody walking back down now with a can of fuel. Hiya, boss. No problem. We're just waiting to see. What do you need? It's okay. Is it your vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah, just out of fuel?
For the diesel.
Okay.
Every year, around 8,000 drivers run out of fuel on major roads in England.
You okay?
Yeah.
It's a common problem, but it carries a huge risk. The hard shoulder of the A1 is a precarious place to be.
This is quite a regular occurrence. Big van, run out of fuel. People trying to get to the fuel station.
But although he's on the hard shoulder, as you can see now, they're all slowing down to have a look. You know, it's not the best place in the world.
But at least now he has fuel, he can be on his way. But it seems this driver's not just run out of fuel, he's also run out of luck.
Battery's flat.
The driver, Robert, is having problems with his phone too, but Paul helps him out.
Good driver.
Okay?
Yeah, I come maybe in 20 minutes.
Huh?
Maybe in 20 minutes.
Okay. There's a bit of a language barrier, so what I'm going to try and do is give him a few minutes just to organise some recovery or a friend to come. Then I'm going to take his details, pass it to our control room, who will then they'll phone him up and make sure. That gives us the opportunity to leave. We then tag it for a time scale to come back to it to make sure it's gone. Hopefully it'll be all sorted. I'm going to give you 2 hours to shift it. Yeah? 2 hours to move the car.
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
No, it's okay, just so you know.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what we have to do. If after 2 hours this hasn't gone, I'm going to have it moved. Okay? Yes? It can be a bit problematic at the side of the road, just getting your point across. And plus, certain foreign nationals are a bit nervous of the fact of a uniformed presence being here. We try to be as sympathetic as possible, but you've got to get your point across, yeah? Just put this on. Okay.
In situations like this, Highways England's advice is that it's safer to stand away from a vehicle and the hard shoulder.
Okay? 2 hours, yeah? Stay out. Right, happy.
A couple of hours later, Rob and Paul are back to check on Robert and his stricken van. They're hoping his friend has turned up with jump leads to start the vehicle, but they're prepared for the worst.
It was on the Tiger Tail, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're just right on it where it's
He's
split.
gone.
Oh.
I can't believe it, he's gone. I would never...
No, we were good there.
I thought that was going to be there for good, that one.
With the stricken van moved, it's a good result for Paul and Rob, and it means the A1 is now a much safer place to drive tonight.
He's done everything we've asked of him, he's recovered his vehicle, everybody's happy, nobody's crashed into anybody. Cones and lights, away we go.
More than 110 miles north in Newcastle, Patrol officer PC Alan Keenlyside is continuing his investigations into a driver who was speeding towards roadworks along the A1.
That's him there.
That's the little red car, yeah.
Yeah.
By working with the Newcastle CCTV team, they're able to calculate the length of time the driver was on the A1.
A picture paints 1,000 words.
Alan's also retracing the car's journey so he can precisely measure the distance the driver travelled.
It's 3.821.
Back at the station, it's time to piece together all of the evidence.
4 minutes 40 at that distance is 49 miles an hour. 2 minutes 54 is clearly going to be a lot quicker. So let's run 2 minutes 54 into the equation. And that gives an average speed of 79.0344 miles per hour and a 50 mile an hour limit.
With the motorist confirmed to be nearly 30 miles an hour over the speed limit, Alan's heading to speak to him about what action he intends to take.
If we prosecute this driver through the courts or through the fixed penalty system, this driver's going to lose his licence. Timed your vehicle, all right, and you are going quick. Your average speed that I've calculated, 79 miles an hour in a 50. 1 more mile an hour and you probably would have ended up in court at that, all right?
Because the driver has shown remorse, Alan has decided a more lenient penalty is needed on this occasion.
Right, this here, right, is the offer of a course. It's an educational course, all right? And it's for careless driving, or changing attitude, all right? So go on the course, have the right attitude, learn from it, all right? And come out of it a better driver, all right?
Being pulled over, I was like shocked, to be honest, like, but to be fair, it's soon enough I got caught. It's like me driving like an idiot. Like you said, if I was doing 1 mile an hour over, then would have been a court sentence, and I've accepted it like it's my own fault.
Alan hopes it's the wake-up call this young driver needed.
I'm satisfied. He is showing remorse to me there. Yeah, I really think I've made the right decision there, and as long as he goes on that course, he'll be staying out of court. If I can keep him safe and I can keep other members of the public safe who are using the A1 and the other roads in the area, then I've done my job.
No further action was taken against the female driver who caused the accident near Newcastle. And the motorist who was stopped for careless driving on the A1 near Morpeth ended up attending a driver improvement course.